host. Yes, you guessed it. It's time for another Profound Professionals. I'm your host, Jessica Koch, and we have had the honor of being with you and having a community like you follow and watch and like and share our shows, hundreds and hundreds of episodes, amazing industry experts from all over the world, if you can believe it, that help improve your personal life or help you grow your business. Today, oh, my friends, today is no different. We have amazing, not just amazing, but brilliantly beautiful Sherry Darden. She is an expert in translating conflict for leaders. So, when things get sticky, they get a little uncomfortable. There's tension in the room. It's pea soup, people. We need to fix it. And Sherry is your girl. So welcome, Sherry, to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm just really excited to be here to talk to you and just talk to you about what I'm passionate about.
All right, tell us how you became the peacemaker, the person who standed in the middle and put their hands on either side and said, okay, wait, there's some peaceful way we can resolve this. Everybody take a deep breath, count to 10. How did you become that girl?
I think just being the youngest of four, my mom raised five, but the youngest of four children, in being that small child, being on the outside a lot of times, looking at people have conversations, and then going back kind of processing, because I'm a processing kind of girl. A lot of times people want immediate reaction out of me, and I'm a little slow because I'd like my responses instead of my reactions to be genuine. And that's part of that whole conflict resolution is we want to learn how to respond versus react. And one thing I always say is that, there's a Dr. Phil used to say it takes 1,000 attaboys to cancel out something bad that you've said. And so when we think about conflict resolution and translating, the big thing is to react, not react, and respond. Yes.
Wow, 1,000. Is it really 1,000? I think Einstein said it was 11 to correct one
No,
misstep. It was
it's
11.
not 11. It's 1,000
Oh my
because
gosh, 1,000, really? Ouch.
yeah, because I guarantee we all remember something that's really defining that our parents said when we were four.
Mm.
And how many times have they said they apologized or give something that, tries to counteract that hurt? We all remember that. So it's not 11, it's 1,000 because we
Well,
always remember.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, then I give up. I throw in the towel because I'm the Italian mother of seven. I have 7 kids and 7 grandkids. There is no way I could apologize 500,000 times for the 500 mistakes I've easily made. Parenting, being a friend, being a human on the planet. I've made a mistake or two. And man, that's a lot of corrections. I feel like
It is a lot of correction. This is food for thought going forward when we communicate that we respond versus react. Because if we now know, a lot of times, yes, there's a lot of things we can't go back and fix. We can try to make amends, but just going forward, just kind of think, am I about to say something that could be interpreted in a negative way or counterproductive way or demeaning way? Do I have, like you said, Jessica, do I have the time to say 1,000 attaboys to counteract that? So it's just really important in communication and conflict, especially with leaders.
I'd say so. So maybe actions speak louder than words, and so maybe you can do some things quicker than you could say 1,000
Yes.
attaboys. Maybe there's got to be hope for me to have resolution and peace with all the people I love, because I'm certainly not perfect. Now, if someone was going to come to you and work with you, either a business or an entrepreneur, or is it also families or an individual? Like, so tell us a little bit about what the customer experience is when they work with you.
Well, the customer experience is going to be first begin with the end in mind, which is, Franklin Covey, and what is it that you want to accomplish? And so if it's, I just need people to hear me, that's a different than motivating. So when we think about leaders, we want to be able to listen to our team and be able to respond accordingly because everyone is different. And when we think about diversity, and a lot of times we think about diversity in the traditional sense, we think about age, race, sex, so on and so forth. But for me, when I talk about diversity and I think about leadership in diversity, is communication styles. Our communication styles are different. So oftentimes we know, and this is what I love, is we've all been raised to think the golden rule. And the golden rule is treat people the way you want to be treated.
We
And it's
hope
not
we hope we've all been raised that way.
well, the other rule is that we want to think about is we want to treat people the way they want to be treated. So, an example of working with a client where I did 3 years financial projections. I'm a former accountant. I'm a reformed accountant because I like to talk too much. And I did a lot of spreadsheets, did a lot of work. I mean, this was a an 8-figure decision based on these performers. So I put my all into it. I put legends in, making explanations, so on and so forth. Emailed it to her, and I got the response was THX. So it wasn't a thank you. It wasn't a full-fledged thanks. It was a THX. And me being and so her communication style is dominant. Big picture, quick, short, to the point. I'm very verbose. How are you? How are the kids? So on and so forth. Great weather, ready for the holiday, whatever the situation is. So I was taken aback by her response. So in my natural form, my reaction was to email her back. But did you see that? And her response was, yep. So I reacted. She gave me a response. And so I said, hey, Sherry, you got to eat your own cooking. So whether it's an individual who's working, I've had individuals say, listen, my kid needs to learn how to interview. How do they respond? All of that good stuff. So I had to eat my own cooking. And I said, I needed to listen. Even if it was in text, I need to listen as to how my client is talking to me. She's talking to me in a dominant way, which means it's not a bad thing. It's give me quick, big picture, bullet points. If I need anything else, I'll come to you. So going forward, which afforded me a 3-year relationship with her, was to speak to her in her language. But that came from, Jessica, listening to her. So listening is written words, verbal words, body language, tone, all of that good stuff. So whether it's an individual, a leader, let's say a real estate agent, you're trying to sell me a house, you really want to listen, because often we are experts, Jessica. We are experts, and we know lots of things. And so people will talk to us, and we do what's called selective listening. We'll wait to hear for trigger words. We tune out and just wait for us to give our spiel of it. But if we truly listen, there can be some key things in there so that we can respond accordingly. So that's where I kind of call myself the conflict resolution specialist, in actually listening and then responding versus reacting accordingly to that person.
I love that. It is really important for us to take a step back and all the different facets of listening, just not just hearing the words like you said, but also taking into consideration the personality type that you're receiving it from, and where is that person coming from, and what's
Yes.
happening in their world at that moment. And
Yes,
even if
ma'am.
working with a company and consulting to support them, maybe what stage of growth their company is and where they are, because again, that messaging and the meanings of what you're hearing can be much different,
Yes.
based on that, on where they are. So
Yes.
one of the other reasons that we started this show 7 years ago was I know that there are millions of nonprofits and causes that people love out there in the world. And I thought, if I'm going to do this show and feature an amazing human, and, truthfully, let's be honest, get some exposure for myself, I want us to take a point in the show where we pause for a moment, and it's about the bigger picture. It's about the community. And in my world, the community is the world. And how are we involved in touching that? And even if it's just you love something about them, you share money with them, or you volunteer time, or you just take a moment and talk about and share about that organization with others, because awareness is huge, and letting them know that resources is there. I think it's an important thing to do. And so I would love to hear from you, Sherry, a cause that is close to your heart.
One of the many causes, but the one that hits home to me and resonates when someone asks me that, and my reaction and my response to that is it's the child care group. And it's the child care group of Dallas.
Mm,
And the reason why I love this organization is it stands as a go-between. So it is a support system for childcare providers so that they're equipped to take care of your children.
Mm.
And they also to provide a source of parents or caregivers who need that source of where do I put my child? How do I educate my child? Free lunches, backpacks, haircuts, all of that good stuff. So they stand in the middle knowing here's what our focus is children.
Mm-hmm.
And where does that support need to come from? Well, it needs to come from the child care providers because they need support. Because again, you're leaving your child with them for 8, 10, 12 hours at a time. And for the parents as well. And then obviously they support the children. So it's a great cause for me. I have done business with them. I no longer do business with them, but I still support them. Um, where I give all of for Thanksgiving, I cleaned out my closet. And all of those good things. And so I always make sure that I promote that if you want to give, they do pickups. I promote them with the Thanksgiving. I promote them with Christmas and all that good stuff. So it is a cause that's very near and dear to my heart.
That's a really unique one too, and I love that you shared that. So there is that disconnect, and that is a challenge for a lot of parents. So wonderful, wonderful resource. So before we get into the book segment, because I am a big book lover, is there anything about you personally or your business that we didn't get to cover?
Think what people need to know about me is I have a big heart, and sometimes I wear it on my sleeve, and it can be a good thing or bad thing. But just know at the end of the day, I ask a lot of questions, and this is as a former tax practitioner. You ask questions because you want to give them the biggest tax return. So as a consultant right now, I'm going to ask you questions. Some of them may be uncomfortable, some of them may be pause for cause, but always know that I am your biggest advocate. When you hire me, whatever your objective is, I want to make sure that I help you in that. And again, for leaders or anybody who wants to dissolve that conflict and I heard what you said, but I'm responding and you're just not getting it, I am going to be your person. I really do care. I love when people get that aha moment. Love it, love it, love it.
That is awesome. All right, you know it. I am a bookworm. I love books. And as we approach our 1,000 industry experts, we're building the ultimate book list from all of those guests to share books that inspired their personal life or help them grow their business. Is there a book you could share with us?
It is. It's an oldie but goodie, and it's called Write It Down, Make It Happen. A lot of times we think that we need to keep everything in our heads if it's about manifestation. So if we think it from the woo-woo level to get done, it is a great book. I've had that book, and it probably has 4 different colors of highlighters because I go through it, I get something different. So it's Write It Down, Make It Happen. It's by Mary Ann Clouser. It's a wonderful book for anyone.
Love, love, love that. That's a good one. I've never heard of that one. So I'm excited. This is why I do this, people. It's cool. All right. Are you an author of a book?
I am an author of a book. And so during my DEI, what is DEI? How do we make it happen? What do we need to do? What do I need to know? And I actually have a book and it's called Ask the DEI Expert, Sherry Darden. And it's 12 or actually it's about 25 questions that you're probably afraid to ask because as leaders, we think we should know this. It's a great Q&A. There's a quiz, so it kind of lets you know where you are and just kind of gives you some recommendations to go forth. And also too has information of how to work with me, whether it's DEI or leadership, because DEI is really about communication. Because oftentimes when we have misunderstandings, which is why I'm really on the interpreting words and really hearing people, we make assumptions. And
Mm,
Jessica will know about assuming what it makes out of you and me, right?
oh, just
So
silly people.
oftentimes it's
Yeah.
just different communication styles. It's not because I'm black or white or young or old or whatever the situation is. It's just because we speak differently.
That
Yes.
is so, so, so true. Now, if you're watching, first of all, thank you for following us and being our community for so many years. And I hope you'll share with others. So many of our community are responsible for our success and they've had that big heart and they've hit that share button. You could inspire someone's life. You can help someone learn about a cause they needed to learn about. just hit share. Now, if you're an industry expert and you think, hey, I should be on Jessica's show, well, reach out to us. We'd love to feature you. Now, you could be selfish and just reach out for yourself, or you could think of other industry experts you might know. I know you know one or two. You've got to know someone that can bring value to the table. Introduce them to us too. We would love to have them. But before we say goodbye, I am not letting Sherry off the hook. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. Sherry, we would love a final piece of information or inspiration for the audience.
Listen.
Mm.
Just listen. The most effective leaders, the most powerful leaders, whether you like them or not, whether they're controversial or not, have the power to listen and respond to meet the people where they are. So if in doubt, ask. And if you ask, make sure you listen and not just hear.
I love that. Listen is golden. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Again, I'm your host, Jessica Koch. This has been Profound Professionals. And until next time, be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. Bye, everybody.